In my opinion, early access can work out. There are many games that are low-quality attempts, but sometimes you come across different. Something that is fleshed out and more complete than some games released today. Tangledeep is one of those games. On the store page, it states that it's been in development since February 2016, and I'm not surprised to hear that at all. This is very much a game that knows its art style, direction, and already has a system in place that is fun to play. Now, how much enjoyment you're going to get out of it depends on how much you like a normal rogue game. Tangledeep is mostly the combat, with a few surprises sprinkled in. Tangledeep falls right in line with some of the more standard rogue games, like Dungeons of Dreadmore, one of my favorite games. I would say Dreadmore is one of its influences, mainly because it has different job classes and new skills you can get. Yet here, you're locked into one class. Tangledeep also does away with identification scrolls. The combat system is very straightforward though. Carefully move around each level and kill anything that gets in your way. Don't get swarmed or else you could be in some real trouble. There are a few components that make it a bit more interesting. There are an assortment of weapons that can drop, and they have modifiers which give them a custom name. Pretty cool. They also have a flask that restores your health and can hold unlimited charges. You will need to find fountains to add charges. I really like the combat, and the flask is a good idea, but it kind of conflicts with the food you can find. With so many ways to heal yourself, I never felt it was too dangerous. I found a lot of those fountains around. Too many. If a healing item is always available, there is no danger. No danger equals boring gameplay. I might suggest limiting the amount of charges the flask can hold. Tangledeep also gives a way to get back to town. The spell takes a few turns to cast, but I can always find a safe spot to cast it. It's not going to get you out of any danger, but you can go back to town and heal. It costs gold to heal, but I've always had plenty. It's not really a problem. On one hand, I like this because I can keep my inventory clear of any junk, but it makes the game easier. What I'm saying is that this game is a bit too easy. The job system is always a welcome addition and allows you to pick a class that suits your playstyle. You also get to choose which upgrades to take as you level up. They are pretty varied, from a simple paladin to the magic user, Spell Shaper. Tangledeep even has a summoning and martial arts class as well. There seems to be something for everyone, and I had to go through and see which one was my favorite. I started off with the hunter, but I didn't really enjoy the ranged weapons. My favorite is Budoka, the martial arts class. It has a lot of passives, which is my playstyle. Did you notice the 4 weapon slots you can quickly swap between? The weapons have modifiers, so some weapons are better against insects or beasts. You can switch between these 4 weapons without any penalty. Normally equipping items takes a turn. This adds some overhead because you have to keep track of more gear, so expect extended menu times. It does vastly improve the depth of the gameplay, so it's worth it. Equip your bow and get a few pop shots in before the monster gets close. Then, switch to your weapon best suited for the job. It's not all typical. South of the starting screen, there is an area that holds everything that is unique about this game. The first thing you'll be introduced to is seeds, which can be planted in this area and then harvested for food. They can also be chopped down for experience and job points. They persist after the death of the character, so they can be really useful in helping a new character get a head start. To the left of that is the Monster Corral. You can buy a hammer that when used on a monster, it will stun them. You can start a monster ranch. Unfortunately, when I played, there was a tooltip bug that didn't allow me to see monster health. I wasn't able to capture any monsters. The rancher claims it gives attack buffs for the monsters you have in the corral. The biggest feature opens up after you beat the first boss. It activates an ancient machine that lets you open item worlds. Using orbs you find in the world, you can dive into an item, which is a special dungeon. If you defeat the boss of the item world, you can enhance the power of your item, and you can do it 3 times per item. These dungeons are difficult and scale based on the item level. This is a great way to incorporate the combat into upgrading a weapon. So much more involved than just clicking a button that upgrades the weapon. Incorporating more of your gameplay seems obvious now that I've said it, but ask yourself, why do games usually have a blacksmith? I'm happy to see this, and it's smart game design. The sound effects are the chirps and clicks you would expect from a 16-bit game, nothing too special. The music, though, is quite good. The developer nailed it. It never gets too boring, and I didn't notice the looping. It fits well with the game, but right now the game only has a limited amount of tracks. This wasn't something I even perceived while playing, though. Just be warned. Anyway, there are a couple things I noticed that I hope get worked out before the full launch. Unfortunately, a lot of the areas can start to look samey. They must be working with a limited collection of floor tiles. There's a warning about placeholders on the main map, so I'm thinking it's going to expand. This causes the deeper dungeon levels to have less impact. They're not as interesting, and they lull me into a false sense of security. It feels like you're experiencing level 1 all over again. It's my biggest negative, and if the game was being released as complete, this would stop me from recommending it. I hope they don't do this, but even a palette color change would go a long way. To me, the cooking system is annoying. I'm not one to be into cooking, so my opinion might not be the best to follow. You need to guess your way to new recipes, and it doesn't seem to track the ones you found so far. I think again, this is one of the areas they're going to expand. I expect this because I have only been able to make a curry dish. I like that it's in there, but a recipe book would go a long way. There isn't a lot of hidden information in this game, so I don't know why the recipes are hidden in the first place. Side note, the story is threadbare, and it's on your list, no worries, but if you're playing games for the story, maybe wait. So, Tangledeep already has a solid base to continue development from. It's definitely expanding the genre, that's great. The game is kickstarted, so it has a budget, and the dev is streaming weekly on Twitch. According to the Steam page, Tangledeep will be in early access until December 2017, and there is a clear roadmap. There's not much more you could ask for in an early access game. With their to-do list, I'm excited to see where Tangledeep ends up. I'm very optimistic. They need to expand on everything though, especially the story. Look, if you made it this far in the video, you should subscribe. You like the content, do it!